So Victoria's blacking out the windows like an expert after watching quite a few YouTube videos. I'm keeping out of the way because I know if I cock this up I will never hear the end of it, and it's the sort of thing that I would cock up, not being the most patient of chappies. So I'm leaving her to it. I think she likes it that way. Meanwhile, I am starting to pack. We're going to try and have the first trial packing run today, which could be fun and sweaty because we've actually got summer for a few days. Fantastic. There we go, blacked out, pimped up. Got a few wrinkles on the back one, but what the hell, it'll do the trick. But I would say, if you can spare the money, and get somebody else to do it. It's a fiddly bit, but that looks pretty awesome, I reckon. That'll keep the dogs cool and the goods hidden. Perfect. Test pack day. Listening to LVC going on about Freedom Day and what a disaster it's going to be and all the hypocrisy of our government. So, in my opinion, we're doing the right thing. It's only when you gather it all together you realise how much you've got. And there's all my tools in the garage as well. And that is not the TARDIS, although we do have a large kind of roof bag thing, which might, well, hopefully will help a lot. All my tools and bike and the tent, which I insist on carrying around everywhere with me and rarely use, but the way the world's going, you never know, we might be camped out in one country or another for 5 or 10 days in quarantine, or where there's a disaster happening after all the flooding. What's next? Fire, tornadoes, locusts, anything could happen. It is like Spain here now, absolutely gorgeous. Dogs are excited, they don't know why, they sense that something's going on. But as long as it involves a ball, they're happy. Let's see how we do. So, 2 hours later, dogs are in. Load of stuff in, stay there. Tools are in, bags are in, tents are in, shoes are in, but the saga continues. All loaded on. Look at this, hey? Japanese bondage, hey? I think that there is no chance of this lot going anywhere, but there's every chance that the whole roof system might just collapse. I'm assuming there's some good roll bars in here as well. But that's tight on, and you can see there's not a lot of room for accessories. Seems to be some room still in the wheel arch, so that's good. Quite good for Mitsubishi suspension, and still not compromised the dog's luxury accommodation. So I think I'll take this off now. That's going to be uncomfortable. Seemed like a good idea at the time. Securing the dogs, but unnecessary. And yeah, bit of a bend in the roof. I bet Victoria thinks that might have been her. Yeah. I think it might be psychological as well. Well, if it gets us there, it's done its job. If it gets us through customs, even better. But if they say no, you can't, anywhere on the journey, they say no, you can't go any further. Well, it looks like we'll just settle because we can build a house for what's in here. Marvellous. Time for some dinner. And then try and relax, a bit of house cleaning to do. And that's it. Blimey. That's it. Imagine that. Last minute preparations. Look at that. Yeah, how can we not have problems with customs? Huh? Does he want to take the sofa with him? Ah, say goodbye to it, Bailey. Say goodbye to it. Yeah. New sofas await, new adventures. Just great, it's not raining though. Absolutely brilliant. But dogs don't know what's going on. That's it, I think, pretty much. Shoes on, off we go.
Snacks, tea, coffee, cigarettes, Drinking Arctic Night is open to all of our customers for the sale of coffee, snacks, tea, coffee and cigarettes for the duration.
Van life. 1,000 miles down. Say hello. Bailey. Bailey. August in Poland. Rain everywhere. I look at my eyes, horrible night in tonight's hotel, but it was a hotel and not a car, so fair dues, I'm happy with that. Oliver, the dog and the Jeep made it as well. There's been some funny noises coming from it, but it survived. I thought it smelled something.
Oh, yeah.
Down,
Someone going on motorbike.
Черкасская область.
Hey up, hey up, hey up, hey up. I can't believe it. I told Nikita we'll bring it to Sunday. So we arrived in Zaporozhye about 10 o'clock in the night. There was no rain here, which was good. One bag was perfect. The second bag was fully rubberized or vulcanized, whatever that is. And everything was bone dry. And just like at Scotefell, we've got a neighbour here who loves his chainsaw. The front bag was absolutely soaked, but in fairness, that rain last night through the storm was like a jet wash. It was probably the worst storm I've ever driven through. The driving was spectacular from the Ukrainian kamikaze crew. Generally, Ukrainians drive like they want to die, and they demonstrated it a lot yesterday, because it was really seriously bad driving conditions, and they just didn't give a monkeys. Just put the foot down and didn't care about anybody else on the road. But we all survived and we got here. There is actually a dent in the roof, so Victoria was right. She did blonk it, but I think a good kick from inside will make it right. It's a lovely sunny day here. I had no idea what temperature it is, but it must be approaching 30. It's a nice breeze, but such a difference from Poland. It's very high humidity here, very sweaty. I was soaked this morning unloading the car, which is relieved. It's gone up about possibly about 3 inch. And everything, all systems are okay. It's going in the garage for a few things that I knew needed doing before we set off, but I was informed that they'd be okay until we got here, and they did work well. And the car I'm very impressed with, and the fuel was pretty good considering the weight and the distance and just the constant hammer of such a long distances, just constant speed. There's a lot to ask of any car, and it did it fantastically. Paperwork. This is an interesting one. We spent a lot of money on paperwork for humans and for dogs. For the dogs, we had to have the rabies shots, which was expensive, and we had the teeter tests, which was also expensive, and we had the new health certificate, which isn't a European passport. It's quite a hefty document, which was also expensive. And we had, for the humans, we had the important one is the vaccination passport from the NHS. Without that, we wouldn't have got anywhere. We would have been stopped at Dover. So if you're an anti-vaxxer, don't even watch this, because I've no time for you. It's the new world. It's a small thing. Protect yourself, protect other people, and there's no chips involved, and you're not going to turn into a zombie. Let's be honest. And the other thing is, if you don't have it done, you're not going anywhere, brothers and sisters. You're not going anywhere. You're staying put forever. So just get on with it. Get it done, be free. You're not a sheep, you're a human being. You're looking after yourself and other human beings. And bureaucracy wise, it cuts through so many problems that you have. They weren't interested in our tests, so if you're thinking, well, I've got antibodies, I've had COVID, I'm fine. If you have a test, nobody's interested. We spent over £100 getting our tests. It was a waste of money and a waste of time. Not a single person asked for our tests, but they did ask for the passport, so that was worth doing, and that was actually free, so go figure. What else do we have? Oh yeah, we had to have the human insurance for me as a non-resident. 90-day insurance, health insurance, which also covers COVID, which wasn't expensive, so it's worth doing, because you never know. I'll tell you an interesting thing: nobody wears masks in Poland. Now, if you're Polish and you disagree with that, that's fine, but I'm saying what I saw, and nobody was wearing a mask in Poland. Occasionally, some were, usually under the nose. So it was pretty pointless. Also in Ukraine, coming the way down, we haven't been out yet today. We're all a bit knackered. The dogs are fast asleep inside, and the humans are fast asleep inside as well, because it was hard work unloading today. So far in Ukraine, we've seen practically nobody wearing a mask. The only place that does seem to enforce mask discipline is Germany. And I walked into a place in Germany to order a couple of sandwiches, and I forgot to wear my mask, which is a bit shocking for me. And I felt a bit guilty, to be honest. You know, people were looking at me, but nobody said anything, or if they did, I don't understand anyway, because I don't really speak any German. But that was a bit embarrassing. But yeah, I mean, down here, nobody seems to be wearing them, which is a bit worrying. But they've had it easy compared to other countries. And there's I think with the Delta strain has just arrived, and it's going to be a problem here if people don't get with it. And there's a lot of anti-vax sentiment here as well, and a lot of bullshit stories going around about chips and things that will turn you into some sort of zombie worker. Very odd theories that people actually believe. It'll make you sterile, your eyes will explode, your ears will bleed, your legs will fall off. All kinds of nonsense. So there's a long way to go, but I think Delta will winnow out a lot of the stupid. We shall see. So yeah, there's a lot of paperwork you need on paper or on the internet, and you just don't need it. But on the other hand, if we didn't have it, somebody would probably ask for it. So it's kind of one or the other. We were just lucky nobody asked for it, but it still felt a bit bad that they didn't ask for it, you know. We had a bit of fun at the customs because we were pointed to the wrong channel, which could have led to a big fine, but because nobody seemed to know what was going on and what to do, because we had dogs and we had a lot of stuff, we were kind of ushered through. This has happened to us before, but back in those days they wanted a bribe, so they pushed it a bit more, but now they don't take bribes, and that's good. This time they just wanted us gone. so we ticked all the boxes. He checked the dogs, and he checked the goods and chattels, all my life in this car. Looked at everything cursorily, not thoroughly, and said off you go. So off we went. The queue was long and a bit tedious, but the actual customs were very friendly, and we got through reasonably quickly, and that was a huge relief, because I've been absolutely dreading that all the time dreading it, because it's always a stressful time what they're going to do, if they're going to do something with the dogs, because Bailey's teeter test wasn't good enough. He didn't have enough antigens for the rabies, so we gave him yet another injection before he came. It was really expensive as well, just to be safe, but they weren't interested in that. They weren't interested. They didn't even read it. They just whatever. But again, if we didn't have it, then there could have been problems. So the next stage now is, firstly, we've got my temporary residence permit to do. We've got some other family stuff to do, and we've got to sort the car out a bit so it stops rattling around so much. And then we'll be looking at a house, or some houses, or lots of houses, and the story will continue. So stay tuned.